Hi, welcome back. We're going to work on building the outside of this album. But to begin with, you're going to need to get your fussy cut scissors out, and you're going to need to get your cup of coffee, your tea, your water, whatever you like to have next to you as you're cutting, because you're going to do some fussy cutting. In the cutout page, you're going to fussy cut out the Christmas tree. And then there are 3 mice. You're going to fussy cut those out. And I've backed mine onto black cardstock. Now, if you don't want to do that, you certainly don't have to. I fussy cut out this envelope and this wheel. And it's not a perfect circle. It's really hard to do. But anyways, that's what I have. So these are your fussy cut items. It is going to take you a little bit, especially with this tree. And if you're going to back onto some cardstock, then that's going to take you some additional time, because then you're going to have to cut in and around all the limbs. Kind of a secret there. Don't worry about being absolutely precise in between them. Just cut around and highlight them a little bit. I'm still doing some cleanup here that I'm seeing now that I'm getting a second look at this. And then when you get all done, we're going to put this together. So what I have is, this is my main piece. It's the big checkerboard piece. There's envelopes on the reverse side of this. And again, I'm working with 12 by 12 papers. This album is measuring 8.5 in its height and 9 inches in its width. And I'm doing that to accommodate some of the items that we're going to be playing with. So this one right here, you've got some cutout cards. And we're going to play with this. We're going to come over, snug over here just a little bit. I'm going to lift this up maybe. And then there's a chipboard piece in there with the teddy bear and the car. That's going to go on here like so. The little mouse, where is he? The little mouse is going to be coming out of the door. This might have to go up a little bit more. Out of the door to the little house, and then the Christmas tree is going to sit roughly over here, and then we're going to have the mommy mouse and the daddy mouse, and then this envelope that you fussy cut, and then this gear with the red bow. They're going to go tuck up over here in this corner. And then we've got some chipboard pieces that are, one's missing. Where'd it go? Gonna go up here in the corner. There it is. And this, okay, this one's a little bit smaller. I'm putting it up over here, and then this is gonna go over here. Now, in my kit that I got from Scrap and Create, I got this little baggie full of brass elements. In there are some gears. I'm going to put this one gear, the smaller of the gears, here on the tree. And then I'm going to put a couple of the gears here on the wheels. So that's what the front of our album is going to look like. Now, I did mount these all on some black chipboard. You can use brown chipboard. And then I filled in with some pop-ups in the smaller areas. But as I'm putting this on here, because this is built up, these are not level. So I'm going to be putting on an additional layer here on the bottom so that it will make contact with the paper. And then the spine, you're going to be making it using this piece of paper. It looks like wrapping paper, shipping paper. It's got the bow through it. And then we're going to play with one of the cutout tags. I'm playing with Silent Night. You can use whichever one you want. And the same with this card. You can use whatever card you want. I just liked that this was just kind of a nice theme, that it is a magical time. Then I fussy cut out 2 more of the, I just lost, holly. Just lost what that was going to call those. The hollies with there's one going to be here and here. And then the spare, the extra, I'm going to use here on the spine. And I have fussy cut out the packages, mounted them on black cardstock, and then I'll stagger them in here in a nice looking piece. Now I have thought about taking some of this and framing this in so that the tan showed and then this was in between, but I haven't really committed myself to that. But if that's something that you want to do, go right ahead. That way you kind of get the both. If you trim in here, trim down here, leave the string unattached, then you can have kind of the best of where it all flows. So you can personalize it if that's what you want to do. All right, so what I'm doing, because I've made the album, as you can see, I'm accenting in black. I want that black to allow the color in the paper to do its own thing, like stand out. So I'm going to matte with black, if I can get this up here where it squares up a little bit better. Gonna matte in black, and then the paper is going to go on. And then what you have is a nice sharp look where this is allowing the colors to pop because of the black. Now, don't worry if you have a big roll here between putting these on and the spine piece putting on. That's unavoidable because this is where that 1/4 inch gap is in between the panels. So this is going to be a little bit wider than what you build here, unless you want to shrink this down so that everything matches. Again, that's entirely up to you. But I'm going to start with the back and this panel because it's going to be quicker than this one, so off we go. Now, I did measure my black cardstock so that it would trim in here, fit in here, and it came in at 8 7/8 across, and then it came in at 8 3/8 in its height. So when all is said and done, it's going to come in here nice and neat with a little bit of red trim. If I can get this in here balanced. Oh, and I know what I forgot. Ribbon enclosure. So I have perfect ribbon. So hold on. Let me see. I've got a couple of them here that I can take a look at and consider using. So let me grab them and let me put them up next to this and let's see what we have. So I have black and red checker. I have kind of a cream colored and checkered. And then I have this red and white chevron. This is too bright. So I am going to put that one away. And I'm really liking that because it's got the red and the black. So we're going to put this away. Now, use whatever ribbon you want to use. You might want to use a solid red. You might want to use black. You could certainly use any of the other colors that's in there. What I have noticed is this is more of a burnt red that works throughout the color palette in this collection. But I think I'm going to stick with this one. So first things first, I've got to get this down before I start laying in these panels. So this is at 8.5 in its height. I'm going to mark it, the center, as being 4 1/4 on both sides. So does that come out to be 4 1/4? not quite. Now, is that at 4 1/4? I do want to, yes, so this is my mark. Now, when I put the tape on here, I am not going to bring the tape all the way to the edge. I am, in fact, going to pull the tape back a little bit because as you flex that ribbon, I don't want to see the tape underneath of it. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to come in at 4 1/4. Make my tick mark. Back off a little bit. Put this down. Now I always play with roughly 18 inches on my length for both strips because that way I'm pretty confident I'm going to have enough ribbon to close and tie my bow, and then I can trim off any extra. All right, so I'm just going to come in here about 1.5 inches. I don't need to go a full 2 inches on that. I put too much tape, but that's okay because I'm going to cover it up here pretty quick with the black cardstock. All right. All right, so this is going to, oh, I was working on the back first. So this is going to be the back. So I'm going to do a dry fit real quick. Believe it or not, but there is, to me, a pattern that I need to follow. Okay, so I'm going to back this off a little bit so I can close in on that. All right, so I'm going to use tape on this because there's a lot here, and I do not want this, this is going to run out. I do not want this slipping around once I get the glue on there. I ran out already. Excuse me, fresh roll of tape. There we go. You might be watching this at a different time of the year here in the future, but right now it's fall, early fall, and it sure feels like it. It's cooler at nights, and it is a little bit warmer towards the latter part of the afternoon, just typical fall weather. But right now I've got my door open and kind of enjoying the fresh air. All right, so let's take these off. I'm going to put the center pieces down first once I get this. I'm going to do it this way. Be a little bit easier. Once I get this down, make sure I've got, oh, that blasted. Ah. I trimmed back all my lavender here, and now I have this Beautiful aroma coming into my shed with the fresh cuttings. It's very nice. Okay, I failed to ink these. I don't like white edges. You can choose to ink or not ink. That is entirely up to you. I'm just using a black permanent ink. Okay, and then I'm going to do a dry fit real quick. Okay. And then I'm going to start to glue it down. I'm going to glue this piece down. To me, it's not as critical as the cardstock being properly secured. Isn't this side just adorable? I love this collection. It's just got some really adorable, whimsical items like the mice. They're just so cute. Okay, that went down pretty easy. And then we had moving things around on my work table here. And then we've got this Silent Night. Now again, you can use whatever tag you want to use. Come up about 1/4 of an inch, roughly in the center. And then I have these two pieces that will go in their respective corners. I've inked the edges. I think I'm going to put this one on this way. Okay, so that's my back. And then we're going to take and put on this black piece. It's a small enough piece. I'm not worried about its contact, so I'm just going to glue it in. Sorry I have this up in your face. I don't know any other way to put this on and try and get it even, short of bringing it up in my face, and then ultimately it means it's in your face, so I apologize. Now, anything that you need is going to be listed below in the description field. So don't forget to check there. You might find additional tools or additional items that you can use when making this album or any album. And again, a nice thank you to Scrap and Create for supplying this paper. Try and get these two here at about the same height. Okay, so then we've got our 3 packages. Now what I'm going to do, just to satisfy my curiosity, is I am going to cut a strip just to see what this is going to look like. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to cover up the string. So I'm going to set that in there and I'm going to mark here and I'm going to mark here. And then I'm going to cut those pieces and I'm going to see if this will do what I'm thinking of it doing, which is bridging the gap between the front and the back. So if I ink this, I'm not going to mount it on black cardstock. It doesn't need to be. But just let me kind of see what I've got going here. So if this comes in here like this, and then, so now that would maybe bridge the gap. And then we put in these Christmas packages. How does that look? I think I'm going to do that. Dresses up the spine just a little bit. And then I'm going to glue down, there's a tall package. And there's a little chunkier one. And then there's the one that's a little bit more of a boxy shape. All right, so that's what we have so far. So let's move on to, I need to put a little bit of glue here on this corner. Okay, now let's go ahead and move on to the front. So once again, I'm going to use some tape. I'm going to tape this in, get that centered, okay. Good to have a ribbon on a Christmas package. On a Christmas album, because you're going to treat it as a package, I guess. Kind of got my brain on a backlog there for a moment. All right. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to center this once more. And I think I'm going to kind of hold this down, and I'm going to remove. Oh, I didn't put it on there. Well, where are they? Goodness sakes. I'm such a silly. Man, I just stuck my finger in that ink pad, and I've got to get some of this off before I go get my papers all messed up. Rule of thumb, put a cap on it. Okay, so I'm going to center this, and now I'm going to kind of hold this down, remove one, and then I can come in here and remove the other one. That helps to keep it from sliding around on me. All right, so I'm going to ink this real quick. I try to have this done ahead of time because you don't need to sit there and watch me ink paper. But I spaced. All right, so now we're going to get our glue out. All right, now I'm going to line up to this corner and the edge, and while that glue is somewhat moist still, and then I'm going to commit it. There we go. All right, let's get into the meat of this. So I'm using Magical Time. I have Little Bear in the car. I've got the Christmas tree. The little mouse that's going to come down the steps from the door. Mama Mouse. That's who I'm calling them, is Mama Mouse, Daddy Mouse. You might call them something different. And then we're going to have the big poinsettia chipboard here, the little one here. I'm just remapping everything. And then the gears, which I'll put on. Okay. So that's how it's going to come together. So I am just going to these have to go down first because they're being glued up underneath of there. So I'm just going to kind of pull these off. I'm going to pull this aside. And then I'm going to glue this one down first. This one. And then we're going to put this in here. glue this in place. I don't want it floating around and I end up losing it. And then this one. Okay, now there are two of these in your chipboard pieces. There's the large one with the bear, and then there's the smaller one. I actually thought about using this, but I really love this guy here. Now, so that kind of gives you a couple of different options. You can use this big one, or you can use the small one. I need to tack this down. There we go. But I'm going to use him. But what I want to do is I want to get Little Mouse kind of situated before I commit the car. Had some black chipboards, that's what I used instead of wasting. I'm going to place him right here on this bottom step, just so you kind of see the center of that door. Press him, and then I'm trying to get this to come up underneath the scarf here so that it's not encroaching on anything else. But I want it to appear that the bear is coming to pick up all the other creatures, I guess. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, the tree, I've just got some black chipboard pieces. And I want it off-centered just a little bit. Now this is where I need to put on the additional pop-ups, is under this lower level. So I'm going to put, come on out of there. Got this one stuck to my thumb, so I've got to get that off. Okay, I'm going to put it there. Might as well take these off so I can put these on. Now let me see, how is that going to do? Oh, I think that will do mighty fine. And then we're going to do the same thing with Mr. Mouse. I'm going to raise up his feet, if I can get this on there without it being misplaced. And then I think I need to put a couple here. Oh, I can just already tell by the way it sat in there that it's perfect. I gotta clean my mess up here just a little bit. Okay, so now we're gonna take Mr. Mouse and then we're gonna glue I just want him standing just a little bit lower than her. Okay, now I wanted to put this gear in here, but I think I'll just put it right there. Let me look at this. Yeah, I got good contact. Okay. We got to gear up for Christmas. Put these, I know they're this one here, the tires are more oblong, but I'm still going to put them, well, I could put one there. I could put one there. You know what? That looks better balanced. That's what I'm going to do. We'll put one here. And we'll slip it in where that gear is right there. Get off my finger. Okay, glossy accents will set up fairly quickly. But I do believe that we have it. Oh, you know what I want to do, which I think will be kind of cool? We're going to add a little sparkle to their eye with some Winkostella. It's too bad that Dad doesn't have another eye. All right. So there you go. This is the outside of our album build using some of the cutout pieces, a card, doing some fussy cutting. We've got some chipboard elements here, and then we have bridged the gap between the front pattern and the back pattern, and a little embellishment here and up here at the top. And there we go. All right, I will see you back when we start to work on the left inside panel. Until then.